business. Item number 1, discussion on the Promenade Shopping Center. Jeff, I will hand that over to you.
Okay. The latest news that we have on the shopping center is not very good when it comes to insurability issues. The fact that the facility is as old as it is, and before the township purchased it, it had sat for a number of years. There is a major problem going around in the insurance industry right now when it comes to insurance rates, and actually it's reinsurance rates. Our insurance carrier that we work through Divot, the reinsurance rates that they're going to be experiencing this year are going up at a minimum 29%. That's just indicative of the industry out there. The problem that we have run into is when a walkthrough visit was done of the full facility, the reinsurance company has notified our regular carrier that they will not be providing reinsurance for that facility. They said it would need roofing, massive amounts of money to bring it up to the level that they would consider insuring it. We have at this point, we really don't have any plans to fix the facility up and rent stores back out again. That was not really the intention of it. So we do have this issue with a building that essentially will be uninsurable. The issue comes up that we still have several tenants that are located at the facility. With the exception of the Monroe Center, Auto Center, all the tenants are on a month-to-month lease basis. They do know that they were on somewhat borrowed time because of the facility being the shape it was and changing hands from a private entity going over to municipal ownership. At this point, it's my recommendation, and I know it might not be the most popular one, that I really feel we need to notify tenants that they will have to leave the facility. The staff has already contacted Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to try and work with them to find some other locations that some of these folks might be able to move into. But I think this is something we have to do. We won't be able to insure the facility. The exception that we're dealing with is the Monroe Auto Center. That has an actual lease, and that lease is in place until September of 2021. It's unique in that it's more of a standalone building, separate from the main strip mall and giant building. It's actually in relatively good shape as buildings go. What we're looking at doing is looking at how to insure that separately. Divot may be able to insure that simply because the building is in much better shape than all the other facilities. When they were here on their site visit, they did not actually go into the Monroe building. So they're going to be back and checking that building. So we're looking at possibly being able to just insure that building through our regular insurance. If not, we'll be looking at regular commercial liability insurance for the building until such time the lease expires. We will be talking about their lease later in the meeting. So it's my recommendation to the board that we notify all the other month-to-month tenants. That includes the dry cleaner and the car wash facility, and have them all find new locations outside of the complex. As part of the next item that's coming up when we talk about the municipal complex proposed idea, we will, as part of that, we will be looking at doing a full evaluation of the existing promenade center. At this point, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but if we are able to move these folks out of there, I think we really need to look at the possibility of demolishing the existing structure, simply because it's uninsurable, it's a liability for the township. And even if we were not to move into that location with a new municipal complex, the buildings are in very bad shape. They were in bad shape before for many years. And I think we need to look to possibly put a bid together and demolish them. The last structure on that property that is actually all part of the whole complex is the old Radio Shack building at the northern end of the property. As part of the streetscape project that is going on in the area on Perkiomen Avenue, that building is scheduled to be demolished. And the cost of that demolition is included in the grant because that whole entrance driveway is being shifted over as part of the realignment of the entrance into that complex. So that building is going to be torn down. There may be a possibility, if we can work the timing of putting out a bid for demolition of some of the other buildings, that a contractor that's coming in to do the demolition on that building might be able to give us actually a much better price, simply because they're not going to have mobilization costs. They'll already be there on site, set up, ready to tear down that building, and they might be able to just be able to move up into the site and start taking down the other buildings. So that's really kind of my recommendation. I think we really need to move ahead with getting the tenants out of there and providing whatever assistance we can in trying to find them new locations, and then look at the whole concept of demolishing that building.
So Jeff, what do you need? Consensus of the board, or you need motions for discussing with the tenants and then the demolition bids?
Yeah, I think a motion by the board on the two items. The first being to proceed with notification to the tenants to have them be removed from the building, and the second one would be a motion authorizing proceeding with bids for demolition of the main structure. In the meantime, we will continue working with our insurance agency to secure insurance for the Monroe building, which we're somewhat tied in because we have that lease that goes through September 21.
Jeff, a couple questions. So the building currently right now, we have zero liability or property coverage, or just property coverage?
Both. We have no coverage at all on that property because of the reinsurance issue on it.
Okay.
When the building was purchased by the township, it was kind of put in a holding pattern because there was the anticipation that the building was going to be demolished quicker than later, and that the tenants were going to get moved out quicker, and we were going to just have a big blank empty lot. That did not happen, and that's why the issue arose of the insurance not being available for that complex.
Well, two things. One, if there's no coverage, I mean, there's tremendous liability for the township residents. So I don't think there's really much choice there. And then as far as Monroe, if a traditional source of insurance, divot, whatever will be, and we're subject to a lease and it's our responsibility to maintain insurance, we're going to have to look at a Lloyd's of London type of higher risk coverage to be able to do that. But again, if you're stating that we do not, so if we are basically self-insuring right now, and knowing that the condition of the property, I don't see there as being any other option but to cease being a landlord, unless I'm missing something.
No, that's correct. You know, our insurance carrier did state that he would be working with us. He would be working up some prices for insurance for the Monroe building. I have not heard back those numbers from him, but that is something that they are working on doing, because they know that facility, even though they did not do a full inspection, they know that facility has been up and functioning and is a standalone building. It wasn't built the same as the other buildings. It's a full block building. It's set up a lot differently than the retail building attached to the Giant.
One last question, Jeff. Since the dry cleaner and the car wash is on the opposite side, and since it has been being used, you would think it's in much better shape. Is there a potential, until we know what's going on, that we would be able to extend them and get insurance, or is that are they classifying that as uninsurable as well?
They have not classified those buildings. The car wash is actually not in very good shape. The dry cleaner, I think, is in much better shape and might be able to be included in the insurance on the Monroe building. When they come back out and do their evaluation, I'll make sure that we make that point with them to see if they would be able to insure that building, so we'd be able to allow the at least the dry cleaner to remain open.
And what's the timing, Jeff, on when we ask them to leave?
Well, as soon as possible. I mean, obviously, we'd like to. It's month to month. I'm not sure if it runs on the calendar in January, the first of the month. But we obviously will try and be, a good landlord and try and work with them. But I would anticipate they should be out of the facility, probably no later than the end of August, if at all possible.
Thanks.
Greg or Michelle?
Well, you have it.
About the car wash.
What was that, Greg?
Joe had asked the question I had, which was the dry cleaner and car wash.
Okay.
My
Michelle?
question is, then we should have actually an inspection done on both buildings if we're going to continue to rent them out. That way we'll know for sure if there's anything wrong with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they will be. They said they're hopefully will be able to come back next week and do the inspection of the Monroe building. And while they're there, we'll have them check the dry cleaner also.
And I think the car wash and the Chinese restaurant are the same owner.
Yes, the car wash, the dry cleaner, and the Chinese restaurant.
8/17 is when Peter's coming up from the divot.
What was that, Clarence? I'm sorry.
8/17 is
August 17th.
August 17 is when divot is coming up to check those buildings out.
Okay.
In the car wash, he's already been cited. They don't keep after their trash. It's blowing all over the place. Their cans are always running over. I'm not sure you want to really keep it open. It's in poor shape anyway, but he does not keep up with all the trash that's there.
Well, it sounds like that structure is going to get inspected, so we guess for that structure, we can wait for the inspection.
Sure.
So it sounds like we need a motion for notifying tenants if folks agree and get bids on demolition.
Well, again, just to confirm, Dave, we would be at least initially notifying the tenants on the old Giant and Blockbuster side, correct?
Correct.
And then waiting until the inspection for the standalone side over where Monroe, the dry cleaner, and the car wash is correct? Is that what we're looking at?
Yes.
Clarence, is that accurate?
Yep.
And there are currently 4 tenants in that side, on the other side, that we would be giving notice?
Correct.
Okay. Then I would propose make a motion. Do I need, Jeff, do we need the names of the 4 tenants, or just note that side, or what exactly?
It could just be a motion for the tenants located in the strip center.
Okay.
Promenade Shopping Center.
We'll cover those folks, and the other building, the Monroe side, we'll deal with that separately.
Well, I'll make a motion that we give 30 days notice to the 4 remaining tenants in the strip center side of the Promenade Shopping Center.
I'll second.
Okay, Greg got it.
That was Greg.
Yep.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
We could also suggest if they need other places, there's a lot of places in Exeter that has open space. And if not in St. Lawrence, they have that wall, just to try and help them.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, just make sure we do that on the communication piece, because I know this will be all over Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and look, just again too, I mean, first off, and again, the building was purchased before, and this was planned, and right now I'm more concerned from a liability perspective of having an uninsured building. I can tell you what, right now, if it was a home and you didn't have insurance, they'd foreclose on you, or they put force-placed insurance as your responsibility. But if it's our responsibility and we cannot insure it, it's not fair to the tenants in case something would happen as well. And we know the condition for those that have toured the giant facility. I don't see a lot of value in that shell right now.
Very good. Thanks, Joe. And I will make a motion that we get bids on the potential demolition of the strip portion of the promenade.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
I mean, just, getting bids isn't going to cost us anything, and it will give us an idea of what the cost would be for tear down, which I believe was part of the original plan.
Yep.
And especially too, if it's going to be the same group that's coming in with the Radio Shack building. So I believe it does make sense to at least see what the costs are for to get rid of that building.
Yeah. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Jeff, item number 2, discussion of the municipal complex.
Dave, I'd like to bring up one other thing, though.
Sure. Go ahead, Greg.
I think we should, take a look at what rent we're charging them. Where this is, even though they knew this could be potentially happening, for them to move their expense, their business, they're going to be incurring an expense. And I don't know if we want to discuss it at our next meeting or something along those lines, but charging them rent in August, maybe we can waive that, so do something to help them a little bit.
Yeah, good point. Jeff, maybe in your discussions with them or notification of them, you can think about that and come back to the board.
Certainly, yeah. If they're, I don't believe any of them of that group had asked for waivers of rent or rent, but I'm sure, given the fact that they will have those expenses of moving, I'm sure they would like to entertain that. So I will reach out to them and discuss that with them, and I'll report back at the next board meeting.
Very good. Thank you.